Good afternoon to you all, and well, here we are, the final episode of Series 1 of the Global Guys. Today, we're going to do something a bit different. We have no guests attending for me and Mark today, but what we are going to do is we are going to do a reflection on Series 1, and we're going to give our opinions on, what we thought stood out, what was really interesting, and give our take on the industries that we spoke to. As always, delighted to be here with my co-anchor, Mark Robbins. Mark, what a series, eh?
Absolutely epic, Tom. Really enjoyed every single episode. Obviously, quite a lot changed, I think, throughout the recording of it, because I think when we started, we were right in the midst of it all, as Corona had only just unfolded, and then towards the end with Rachel, shops were starting to open, sport was coming back. You'd had a shave, life was resuming.
Exactly, yes, and well, I've had a shave down bottom, and obviously you've had a shave up top, and
an emotional couple of weeks.
It has been. We were both in dark places, it seems, from the beginning to the end. So yeah, the improvement is massive. But yeah, you are right. Looking back, when we first started it, looking back right from the beginning, what are we, sort of 8 episodes that we did with 8 guests. 10 weeks ago, we came up with this idea. 10 weeks ago, we had this chat and we thought, what can we do? And the response has been obviously incredible. And that's something for me. It's been a bit mind-blowing, really, the amount of people that have viewed it and just the interaction we've had and the people that have asked us about stuff, people even getting our merchandise now. It's just, it's pretty been blown away. What were your thoughts really from the beginning when we first had this conversation?
I don't think I thought I'd find it as interesting as I did. Like, I think everyone we spoke to, even if I thought maybe the industry wasn't something that I was particularly interested in or knew too much about, still blew me away. Like Spoonie in particular, like the music side of things, and what he does with football, and then the fun questions at the end, mainly like the global guy and stuff, were funny and unpredictable. I didn't see a few of them.
Yeah, definitely.
What was the what did you? What came out of it that you didn't expect to come out of it?
Do you know, a mixture really. There was, if we think about, as I said, about what we tried to achieve, originally, obviously, when we first did that, what we tried to achieve: exposure, more outreach, global fluency, really, obviously, just to have an additional platform, really, didn't we, of people to speak to different industries, and some of the highlights, I would say, and some of the people that we've spoken to, right from the beginning. We had obviously Anne Jagger Recruitment of Steve Brame, an ex-boss of mine. That was really interesting because that was obviously right at the beginning, but it was interesting because from his point of view, he was so quiet and he thought, I don't really know. I've got to sort of ride the waves here. And that was typically, really interesting to understand that, his specific industry of startups and scale-ups, of his recruitment expertise was, what was going to be paused. Then we had, as you said, Spoonie. Spoonie was really good with the music side of things. That really obviously, that was really interesting, just to how that taken the revenue stream and, look, he would have been 2 or 3 weeks into, he'd have been 2 or 3 weeks into doing his Ibiza and everything else tour at the moment. So, yeah, that was really interesting. Miller Champion Hall, M&H, the bat making company, Rob Chambers, that was really interesting. Really interesting to see his future. What he was looking to do with regards to going to India and to America. I would, we both said that they're the finest bat makers, obviously, in the UK, and I have no sort of, no ties with them or anything like that. you know, they've not given me anything for bribery to make sure that we promote them or anything. But, you know, it's just a fine cricket bat.
I think that sort of leads into what I was thinking is, like, those first three people, we were in the mud where we didn't know which way was up. Like, we were housebound. We were allowed to go to the shops once a day on your own. And we were allowed to exercise at that point. I think we were always allowed to exercise, weren't we? But and then as soon as we hit, like, Harry, we started hitting the Boris's announcements of things might change a bit next week or the week after or in a month's time, and stuff's starting to get a bit better. You know, we're, like, peaking. And I think he really opened it up for me when he started talking about the future of, like, commute. Like, I want to swear, but I'm not going to. But he said the commute's dead.
Yeah.
Venues where people can drop in and drop out. I don't need staff in offices all the time anymore. I've employed them because I like them and I trust them. So why can't I trust them to work from home or work wherever they want, as long as they get the job done and they can come in or out for collaboration or whatever else. And I think from then onwards, obviously Ed Fraser was a super interesting one from the PE side of things and how that's changed and how, I mean, that's not even just COVID. That was so interesting because it was from how, you know, he was living in Iran in oil and gas all the way through to basically forming a couple of or being involved in Herman private equity from the beginning as a concept.
Yeah, that was just mind blowing. And yeah, to look back at his, you know, to speak to him about his history and, you know, how he's developed and everything, and obviously the biggest thing, you know, had the chance to invest into this, and you know, the platform that we use now with Zoom. Obviously other platforms available for everybody out there, but yeah, to think that, to invest into that, and for me and you, like, that was like, I was like, wow, what, that is a multi-million, you know, dollar loss there that has just escaped your hands because of the unpredictable. And yeah,
It makes you wonder what he did invest in. If he did invest in that, then he must have some winners there.
That on the money.
Yeah.
Maybe the global guys will be his next investment.
Who knows?
Exactly. But yeah, you know, like you said, you know, those things, and that was obviously really interesting. And then obviously we went to and it was really good to interchange. And like you said, with the Boris announcements and things, obviously, you know, being able to go out a little bit more or see people. And then we had obviously the announcement of Nearly Sport coming back. And obviously that was perfect timing for us with regards to speaking to Rob and to Jack and really understanding that betting side of things. You know, happy to admit, you know, I have a bit of a flutter and yourself, and so, you know, for those things to be back on and to pique that interest, you know, Roy Ascot was last week, you know, that must have been obviously a crazy time for him. But it's strange to sort of think that how pivotal that industry is really, and how reliant that industry is, and how big the audience is.
Yeah, especially on the international front, where Jack was talking about like the US starting to open up its states to allow gambling across more states. So, you know, it couldn't have really been worse timing from that perspective when they're just about international markets and then everything stops.
Yeah, exactly. Like that revenue stream, those predictions and everything else must have been huge. And then literally...
Like the NBA season and baseball and stuff. Like basketball. Yeah. Surely, like, Americans would love to bet on anything they could possibly, if they had the chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was, you know, that was obviously really good, and both of them, but you know, both were very insightful into that side of things. And then, you know, the big one that I think would affect us in the long run, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously we do a lot of, you know, with our roles, we do some traveling and the transport side of things when we, you know, do travel, and that's speaking obviously with Kahu at Keith. And that was really significant. And that's something I think personally, that's probably the biggest industry that I will look at or closer and keep a good eye on, like going forward, because that transportation and I suppose the thing that we take for granted on a personal side of things, as well as obviously on a business side, take for granted that initial transport. You know, we both do it when we're booking holidays or booking flights or trips. Yeah, automatically just go transfer from hotel to airport to hotel, airport to business meeting or what have you, you automatically don't even think. And the effect that's had on the travel side of things, this is just mental. What was your take on like the travel side of things, that what he said, and also what's your take on potentially traveling going forward, especially with, like I said, with the roles that we have?
Yeah, I found his point on the like how potentially taxis and people transporters are going to be affected and have to have screens in them so they can carry more people, or if they don't have screens, they can only carry like a single person potentially, which is obviously going to have a huge impact on their like return on investment and probably the cost of getting a taxi. Because if you can only take one person at a time, then the taxi driver is going to have to charge, or the company's going to have to charge more money. But then like, I was thinking about it today. Like, I read an article about e-scooters, which sort of made me think about it. But like transport in general, I think like I can't see masks going anywhere anytime soon in like the next year or so. Like even if the R starts going down and there's people on buses, people on trains, people in taxis, people in minibuses, whatever, I think people are just going to have to. They're just going to keep the mask thing. I just can't see why we wouldn't. Need to sort of protect against a future pandemic as well as control the one that won't go away.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite interesting, really. You say that. It is quite interesting because I haven't thought of that at all. Because when do they turn around and say, okay, now you don't have to wear one, and then are they in a position of thinking, well, the responsibility, and what society is like, and something, if everyone goes, oh, you can sort of not wear one now, and then something happens and something spirals, and it'd be like, well, if you'd worn one, it might not have helped, and you just think, so for the future wise, that's going to be really interesting.
What if you get a flight to Spain for your holiday or whatever, and you get out of the airport, call a taxi, or you've got one booked for your transfer or whatever, you get in it. If I was that taxi driver, I'd be thinking, well, this guy's come from another country that we don't know how bad the corona is. He's been on a flight with a load of people that we don't know where they're from, so we don't know how the spread's affected that. Then you're going to get in my taxi and sit behind me. I'm going to want a screen. I'm going to want a mask. I'm going to want the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And you're going to get anxious, I'd imagine, from coming from. You can't even give anyone a high five at the moment.
No.
So.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. Not that I've got anyone to high five at the moment or done anything significant to do. Probably I could actually chuck a high five in once I've nailed this though, Mark. So, thanks for that. Afternoon. You can definitely tell that I've been able to go to the shops anyway over lockdown. So that's the best thing. So that was super interesting. And then, excuse me. And then obviously Rachel to finish off with the employment side of things. So interesting with regards to what's going forward and how busy they are going to be, because everyone is going to have to do stuff by the book.
Yeah.
We're at that point where from the 4th of July, obviously the announcements the announcement was yesterday when this goes out, but we've got it that pubs, restaurants, offices, starting to open, especially here in the city. The employment side of things is going to be massive. Do I go back? What's my rules on going back? If you're still halfway through furloughed, the employee's going to turn around and go, I'm going to see it out, see my furlough out. What's the implications on bringing someone back? That was super interesting. Now, Rachel, obviously, you've known Rachel for some time, and you knew her, how busy she was without this pandemic that went on. But so it must have been sort of pretty interesting, intriguing for yourself as well.
Yeah, I was really intrigued to find, because obviously they're like the the resource of knowledge, aren't they? Like if you want an opinion, you go to an employment lawyer to ask, I want to do something, so I need your legal opinion to make sure I'm doing it correctly. So I was surprised a little bit to find out that they didn't have any more knowledge than what you could read. It's just that they can take the time to digest it and then give a professional opinion based on all the advice. I kind of expected them to have like a phone from the government, that would say, "Oh, we're going to be announcing this. Here's a heads up. Here's all the details, so you can go and learn it, and then let your clients know." Rather than Boris doing his 6 p.m. announcements, and then everyone's like, "What does that mean? Who can I contact that can help me with that?" Oh, I'll phone Rachel, I'll phone David Winters, or I'll phone whoever. And and the rules changed, didn't they, throughout? Like furlough was started in March or whatever, then they changed the date, or February, whatever it was. And then you could only do it for a certain period, then that got extended, and then are they going to change how much of it you get?
It's mental. And you are right. The whole being able to have that bat phone, as we say, of just having a heads up, it still baffles me from hearing her, from what she said about that. Still baffles me that industries like that or certain individuals are not getting those little heads up, because her phone must be absolutely off the hook. She wouldn't have been able to take any annual leave over the last 3 months. That would have been all rescinded. Absolutely no chance. No weekends, no nothing.
And Boris doing all his announcements on Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. So that must have been carnage. But but that was a great wrap up then for obviously, in super industry to with regards to the episodes that we did.
Yeah, I think we hit all the major industries that got affected by it. The only one we'd have liked to have added, which was bad timing on Corona, Boris, and our part, was would have been good to have someone from retail to really understand how they're preparing to go back to work and the future of retail. It could be great for what we're about to talk about in season 2. But I think that would have
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it could have been. And look, I think that would have been really interesting, because that's obviously you get it firsthand. With the wife in retail, and obviously with such a significant brand name as well, and that's something that would be really interesting, because the restrictions again, like with the pubs and restaurants and events and everything potentially coming back, the restrictions in a retail shop has got to be significant as well. We're probably 1 in, 1 out, minimum amount of people allowed in. That's going to be crazy, and it'd be really good to speak to someone to try and find out, are the next 6 months for them going to be crucial? That's probably 6 to 12 months. Are they going to be crucial? Because we both know how it works. If the footfall doesn't it doesn't start coming through their doors, what's the point in having a shop on if you've got it online?
Well, and I think the buying experience is going to change, isn't it? Because from what I understand, you can't try stuff on anymore. So
no.
The red T-shirt online, you go to the shop, you walk in the shop, you look at the red T-shirt. If it looks like it does online and it's the similar size to you thought it was, you buy it. If not, you take
Yeah, exactly.
Buy online. I worry for the high street from that respect. Apart from looking at stuff that you see online, you can't try it on or really touch it or pick it up because, of potential spreading and stuff. And how they sanitizer out of all the garments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is going to be, so it'll be fascinating. It will be fascinating. And so, as you said, and obviously to our audience that are listening to us across all the platforms, we've made some significant headway, obviously, over the last 8 weeks or so that we've had this running. And, as we do this reflection, and we say again from the beginning, we thought, right, we'll just put it onto LinkedIn, and that'll be it. And we said, well, we'll look at the YouTube channel, and that'll be perfect. And then it's grown massively due to the demand and an audience that we wanted to reach out to, and we've had it now on obviously Spotify, and being able to we were accepted to have a channel on there, and also onto the Apple podcast, which has been fantastic. It's obviously, we've got our own Instagram as well now, which is, I'm inundated with friend requests, which is fantastic. And that's absolutely brilliant. And so, it's so good. So with that, our announcement today, Mark, is
We are launching season 2 by popular demand.
Correct. Yes. Yes. I can't wait. I get to continue to work with you, Mark. Not just every day that I do anyway, but on this. But yes, we are pleased to say that we are going to do season 2 as well. Series 2, however you want to say it. How are we going to do this then, Mark? Now, we've done a reflection on, the current industries and different industries and what's been affected during COVID. Now we are, I can't say out of COVID, but we are the back end of it with things getting into place. What's our plan? What are we going to do next?
Well, I think you're right, Tom. I think we covered COVID in the mud, for want of a better word, that stage. And I think what we learned from that was the future of work is now. But there's also that obviously slightly changed future of work due to COVID. We were talking about retail, transport, etc. So I think, it leads us into the future of work as season 2, basically. Look at, influencers within that space and people that work in that space that maybe help people work remotely or, from compliance, or have had these theories about the future of work becoming, a real remote workforce one day, and how that maybe is now.
Yeah.
As well as, other events.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be really good. And that's going to be so interesting to really obviously understand, what is the future, and how does it look? And I think obviously breaking it down even more, we've got someone lined up to talking about, for instance, the new networking plans. A good friend of mine, the very first person I met here when I moved to London, but someone that is going to talk to us about how he sees networking. 70% of his business that he generates is through networking and going to events and doing this. And so he's going to talk to us about, new networking plans, how this works. Does this work? Does this work with having 30 people on a Zoom call and trying to do that? Yes or no? How are we going to get back to what it was before? It'd be quite interesting also to talk about potentially, as me and you are eating cream cakes and everything, but potentially even the fitness and leisure industry. How does that affect it? We both know, obviously, from a London perspective, the city side of things. People go to work, in the offices 9 till 5, what have you, and then it's, a lot of them, a majority of them go to the gyms an hour before then hitting the train and going. What's going to happen there? Are the gyms going to be able to, they are looking to be reopened. How is that going to take shape? Not just here in the UK, but from a global side of things. How does that work? And that's going to be really interesting. And hopefully, then we might also have a little secret surprise as well by someone from Safeguard Global. So, but we'll leave that one to future. But it's going to be good, and the momentum is now with us, Mark. And look, I've loved series 1. Some of the guys have been absolutely brilliant, as we said. And reflecting back again, Ed Fraser. You want to literally have a weekend with him with a nice bottle of whiskey and just literally talk about his old times and how he's grown up. Harry, with regards to how things are going to, the future and digital marketing and how that's going to be and how people are going to adjust. Obviously, the sports side of things is going to be brilliant. And we both will continue to tune in to Mr. Spoonie as well when he does his live streams. And next month he turns the big 50 as well. So we'll definitely probably do a shout out for him. But yeah, Mark, it's been fantastic. Series 1. And it's been great to work alongside you, and it's been thoughts from you.
Well, I think we need a catchphrase. I think it's goodbye from one half of me didn't really work. I think maybe we have to throw that out to the audience for a better one. But yeah, I completely agree. I think it was a brilliant series. Met some super interesting people. Learned a lot. Funny listening to people like Spoonie, for example, saying he learned a lot about his own audience because he was doing the live streams and he was doing the more remote stuff, and he was getting more direct feedback, which I found super interesting. And like you said, Ed, bottle of whiskey, weekend in Devon, let's go. But to sort of wrap up the end of season 1, we should probably find out who your favourite global guy is, Tom, because I'm only 1 vote away from winning.
Right, my global guy. What a great question. I think if I had to pick, then this person is, I think, is such a great guy, great personality. He's influenced me massively. He has been with me all the step of the way throughout my sort of career. Has helped me make decisions throughout. And yeah, my favourite global guy is me.
Brilliant. So if I was to ask you someone to influence your career, would you also say you?
Yeah, I've definitely influenced everything that I've done. So I don't know how successful I've been basically with that, but yeah.
Well, you can tell.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. The global guy. I should have had my own. Maybe we should have thought of that. That was really interesting. What we've had: Donald Trump, Barack Obama. Who else we had?
Attenborough, David Attenborough.
Yeah, David Attenborough. Actually, great one. That was a great one. It was interesting. And Ed Fraser, apologise if you're watching this. I can't remember, but it's the ice hockey guy that he played with.
That he said we'd never heard of.
No, David Beckham. We had David Beckham actually standard. I would have put, especially the Sporting Index. That came from the Sporting Index boys, so I should have put money on that someone would come out was them. That'd have been a lot better, wouldn't it? But interesting, obviously, range of people. I don't know if I could put on Richard Attenborough. David Attenborough will be one up there with me. He is so fascinating. Obviously a sportsman as well with Beckham, but as I said, the pick is me because I didn't get a pick throughout the whole series, so I'm picking myself.
Well, it levels us up.
Yeah, exactly. What about yourself? Do you have someone that stands out?
I was thinking about this earlier when I was walking a dog, and I was thinking, what if this question comes up, which it quite likely might do. We ask everyone else it, and I was fully planning to ask you it. So I almost split it in two, like my favourite global person in real life, and then I've got like a couple, probably like fictional global people that I'd quite like to be, like Harvey Specter, for example.
Yeah.
I posted a video on Friday on LinkedIn of Usain Bolt, and I think every time I watch the videos of him, it's like a fist bump compilation. So it's like him just fist bumping the guy that's always taking his trousers off when he's about to go for a sprint, or winking and then fist bumping or whatever. And he can't help but smile and laugh. And I think him being in the position he is, like a global superstar, and just bring everyone up to his level by just giving him a smile or giving him a fist bump, making as well as being the best he could possibly be at his profession, and just have fun with it. So I think I'm surprised no one else said it when I thought of it. But yeah, I'm going to go Bolt.
Good man. Yeah, good. Well, you might have to work on that celebration. Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, you're right, and that compilation. What
very hard word to say. I struggled as well.
Yeah, no, that is a terrible word. You should have thought something else out. That compilation is so good, and it just gives you. That spreading of joy is so good, and especially with what's happened, that's a great person to be picking. I'm still not changing mine, so then we're 1-on-1, and we'll go into series 2. We never know. We might keep that question in just to keep going on with the tally throughout. So, Mark, as I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. If we go into series 2, what can happen? You never know. I might continue to wear a shirt. Because obviously you've had a bit of a wardrobe reshuffle, and now we're allowed back out, I should look a bit more respectable. But yeah, look, it's an absolute pleasure. And so all I'm really to say is, from one half of the Global Guys, thanks for joining me. To the audience out there, thanks ever so much for joining us. Keep reviewing, commenting, give us some feedback. Let us know who you would like us to speak to, or if you want to be on this, then please let us know as well.
Yeah, completely agree. If you can think of a better catchphrase for Tom, that would be really helpful. But yeah, really keen to get involved in future work, influencers, to help us and all of our listeners and watchers understand what potentially is coming, and share some insights on that. So I suppose last thing to say is it's goodbye from the other half of the Global Guys. Catch you next Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark.
On that note, we'll call it a day.